Villains are important components to stories. Without them, we wouldn't understand the dangers and the conflict a community or a person is facing. The antagonist is often the primary reason why the hero's story is even worth telling. Without villains, we wouldn't have someone to hate for all the problems in the story. I thought I'd do a top 10 list of all the villains I hated in video games, but after taking some time to think about it, it turned out to be a little bit more difficult for me to only pick 10. So to make things less complicated, I'll probably upload a second video in the near future. Some might disagree with this, but this is all my opinion, so please let me know in the comments below who your top 10 most hated villains were in gaming. First on the list, we have Major Phillips from Binary Domain. He was in charge of launching both Dan, Bo, and the rest of the Rust crew in Japan. Everything seems to be normal as Dan and his team progress through the story until you get to the end and find and destroy the enemy AI, only to see Phillips has arrived to take control of it. Eventually, the Rust crew will have to defeat Phillips in an annoying battle where Phillips fires off rockets like crazy. Next on the list, we have General Shepard. I'm sure any Call of Duty fan would rank Shepard high on the list of the most hated characters in the Call of Duty franchise. However, when he betrays Task Force 141 to save face for his own unit when they were close to uncovering his treachery in relation to alarm Makarov's terrorist attacks and only to hunt and kill Makarov himself to become the hero, you begin to despise Shepard even more. And what makes it even more sad is when you see Roach die and he grabs Shepard's arm right after he shoots Roach. Next up, we have Officer Tenpenny from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. From beginning to the end, you will have hatred for Officer Tenpenny, and what makes you hate him even more is that you won't be able to kill him. Instead, he kills himself in the last mission. For me personally, after doing all his dirty work in his missions, I fantasize to the end that I will kill him, only for it to only be Big Smoke as the final boss. Next on the list, we have Catherine Marlowe from Uncharted 3: Drake's Deception. Marlowe is one of the first female major antagonists introduced in the Uncharted series, as well as another villain who is not the final boss in the game, so you will not be fighting her neither. But I did feel satisfaction for her demise, as she finally got what she deserved once she got her hands on the St. Francis ring. Out of all leaders of the Covenant Empire and conspirator of the Human Covenant War occurring nearly 3 decades was given the most satisfying death by the Arbiter. Sadly, you will not be defeating the Prophet of Truth. Parts of you will want him to pay for capturing Johnson, only forcing him to activate the Halo Array. After he has been infected with the Flood and off by Arbiter, with one of the greatest one-liners in video game history, I felt satisfaction.
You must be silenced.
Rafe doesn't look too intimidating or as menacing, but he is definitely one villain that you want to punch in the face the most. Having the rich and powerful life isn't enough to satisfy him. He spends a majority of the game backstabbing and killing allies and friends while creating a rivalry with Nathan Drake to obtain Avery's treasure. The score is finally settled when you face off with Rafe in the burning ship with Avery's treasure along with Avery and Two's dead bodies. Boss was one of the most iconic villains from the past gen. What made him a very compelling villain was that he was absolutely psychotic. His delivery was perfection. He made me want to kill him even more. His motivations were pretty simple. Rule the island through fear, violence, and power. Besides being involved with both human trafficking and drug smuggling, he loved beating the shit and torturing Jason. I like him, but I hate him. Tsukasa Sagawa is one of the biggest pricks in the Yakuza series ever, in my personal opinion, making both his first and only appearance in Yakuza 0 and being assigned to keep an eye on the exiled Goro Majima while he runs a club for the Shimano family. Sagawa is assigned to monitor Majima, and if he decides to run away, he'll be instantly killed. He's constantly monitored no matter where Majima goes throughout the game. Sagawa is a piece of shit because he's a sociopath and tortures Majima throughout the game. And if Majima decides to attack Sagawa, he'll be off. No ifs, ands, or buts about the situation. Later on, you'll begin to see both Sagawa and Majima bond. You'll forget all about the awful things that Sagawa did in the game. However, in the end, he does meet his demise. It is both sad yet satisfying for me personally. Mitsuru Kuroda displays a menacing personality as soon as you run into him at Bartender. Outside of playing his role as the by-the-book detective, he portrays the mole and utilizes daily efficiency. Both cold and ruthless, he will kill anyone that gets in his way. As a corrupt detective, he shamelessly abuses his power to cover his own ass until Hamura reveals his identity to the protagonist Takayuki Yagami. I believe there is no need to share my personal disdain for Micah due to the fact that there are more people in the community that feel the same way I do. Besides destroying a close-knit family by getting into the head of a weak-minded leader, not only got the most beloved character in the story killed depending on which ending you got, but many other members as well. Micah was so evil, Dutch allowed himself to be manipulated and become reckless as Micah himself. Micah's intentions throughout Red Dead Redemption 2 was for the money, and he almost succeeded, while in bed with both the Pinkertons and the Van der Linde family alone. Villains indeed make the story more interesting. Sometimes we hate them, sometimes we agree with them. Regardless, they will always serve a foil to the main character. Please share your top 10 favorite villains in the comments below. If you are new here, please like the video and subscribe to my channel for more awesome content in the future. This is Drex, and I am out.